What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Tim Sports Talk. And today, we are talking about a Washington Commanders trade. They made two today, but we're talking about the one that everyone's talking about. All right, Jahan Dotson on the move to Philadelphia. And right out the gate, we won the trade. We won, okay? Maybe some of you guys think we lost because you guys look at Jahan Dotson, where he got drafted, and see that we only got a third in return. We had to give up a fifth, and then we got 2 sevenths back. The problem is Jahan Dotson should have been a first-round pick. He never should have been taken there. He was not that kind of a dude. He was a third-round pick all along. So we basically got a pick that he was worth on draft day in return right now for Jahan Dotson. Now, we get to move up from the 5th round all the way to the 3rd round, take a pick from our division, and then hand them a slot receiver. That's what Jahan Dotson is. He has trouble getting off the line. He is not an outside dude. He is a slot receiver, which, shout out to him. Good for him. I hope that he plays well for the Eagles for his sake. Why not? I don't care. No ill will. It's just, right now, we are a building team. We are a team that is trying to put this roster back together after the disaster known as Ron Rivera and company. We literally did not hit on a first-round pick. Why? Because we went and got the GM from an 0-16 Lions team that could not hit on first-round picks outside the top 2. It's easy. Why did we suck? It's because we hired people that suck. Ron Rivera was a disaster. That is now just etched in stone when it comes to draft day, right? And it made this team very, very bad. We are now building that roster back, and this is how you do it. You trade a guy that was going to be your 3rd wide receiver for a 3rd round pick. De'Ami Brown already was being talked about as our wide receiver too. We already have Terry McLaurin. You are trading your 3rd receiver, your 3rd option in the room for a 3rd. That is huge. If there's any other team that had a third receiver that they could trade for a 3rd round pick, they would probably do it. That's awesome. That's fantastic, right? This is a W. This is a W, and in my opinion, Adam Peters 2, Howie Roseman 0, because I think we also won the trade where the Eagles got Cooper DeJean, made a few moves back with the other pick, and we got 3 picks in return where we get Mikey Sanders-Still, who I already thought was better than Cooper DeJean, period. Then on top of that, you get Ben Sinnott, in my opinion, the best true tight end in this draft. Brock Bowers is a beast, but he's more of a receiving threat. Ben Sinnott is both. He's a true tight end, blocking and receiving. That's what you have to do to be a tight end, in my opinion. He was the best. Then, on top of that, you get Dominique Hampton, who's supposed to be the insurance policy if Jeremy Chin does not quite work out here. It's basically another Jeremy Chin. You have the replacement right off the gate. So, a 3-for-1 in Cooper DeJean, who I think is a very good player. I don't have a problem with Cooper DeJean. He's just not an outside corner that I am opinion that's going to shut anybody down. He's a good DB. But if you told me who would you take, Mikey Sanders-Still or Cooper DeJean, give me Mikey, okay? That was my opinion before the draft, and now we got that. So, in my opinion, Adam Peters is doing a fantastic job here in Washington. Fantastic. All right, and I don't care if it's an in-division trade. I don't care about that. We just traded a wide receiver 3 for a 3rd. That's so good. So good, right? And it's all relevant, too, because he was going to be a slot receiver here. We had tons of options that we could put in the slot. Olumide Zaccheaus has been playing fantastic here in the slot for us this year. We still have Jamison Crowder, who, yes, is 31 years old, still a beast in the slot everywhere he's gone. We got a guy like Kazmir Allen, if we want to continue to develop him and keep him instead of having Jahan Dotson hold a roster spot. You could bring up Kazmir Allen to be your punt returner in the meantime, and then on top of that, develop into hopefully a nice slot receiver. They also like Luke McCaffrey on the slot, who we drafted in the 3rd round, who I think is a better receiver on day 1 than Jahan Dotson. Okay, and that's crazy to say because Luke McCaffrey is only 2 years into playing the position. This is only going to be his 3rd year in the wide receiver room, and I love Luke McCaffrey. I love the mindset. He has the same speed, but he's also in a 6'2" frame instead of a 5'10", 183 pounds. He's like 6'2", almost 200 pounds. He's in a bigger frame. He's got a mentality that is a go-getter mentality. He will let his head get blown off before he lets that ball hit the ground. That is a guy that we have right now that we could throw in the slot if we want to. We had so many options in the slot. We didn't need Jahan Dotson here. And now, don't get me wrong, Jahan Dotson better than OZ, Olumide Zaccheaus, and better than Jamison Crowder. I'm not hating on Jahan Dotson. I think he's a very good player. But what I see is a guy like Tyler Lockett, right? That's his ceiling. That's the max that you're going to get, right? He's not even there yet, but that's the max you're going to get is a guy like Tyler Lockett. Lockett's a great receiver. Who was ever trading a first? Who was ever trading a second for Tyler Lockett off of Seattle, right? We basically got max value that we possibly could for a Jahan Dotson type player, and we didn't even need him anyway. It's a building year. What are we building for? Like, what do we need to be good right now? Added picks for the future. This is a guy that you could let go without hurting your team, because I would take OZ or Jamison Crowder in a third over Jahan Dotson any day of the week. Any day of the week. 100%. I mean, if you told me, like, who are you going to keep straight up, no picks involved, I would rather have Jahan Dotson over either one of those two. But I get to have one of those two start and a third-round pick. Easy money. Then you have Terry on one side, Diami on the other, Luke McCaffrey waiting in the wings. You can bring in somebody else if you wanted to. I know Martavius Bryant's here. He's probably never going to play because he hasn't played since 2018. But you could also go get another receiver. That's another thing, is we might be still in the market for a wide receiver, right? We don't know yet. They may be in talks to go get Ayuk, go get T. Higgins, which brings different elements than you were getting out of Jahan Dotson. They could be your real wide receiver too instead of Jahan Dotson, right? They can handle the press. They can also block in the run game. That's another thing that we saw him struggle his entire career. And yes, you don't only go for a receiver because he can block, but that's an additional thing. When you're running a wide receiver screen out there or trying to run a toss play to the outside, you want a guy that can actually block, and Jahan Dotson was never giving us that. Never. It just is what it is. That's just not his strong suit. Okay, cool. We won this trade. We won. It's a phenomenal trade. Okay? Not that the Eagles are dumb by any stretch of the imagination. Eagles are a fantastic team, and Howie Roseman's doing a phenomenal job. They're in a win-now mode. So they're willing to trade some picks to try to get themselves over the top to win the Super Bowl. Jahan Dotson could be a great player over there. He's got a great attitude, great personality, great head on his shoulders. He's a very good and a very good player and a good dude. I do not hate Jahan Dotson. This is about football, not about attacking people. And I think that we finally have competent leadership, competent general manager, competent coach, competent ownership. It's a different era in the Washington Commanders' legacy, and I'm just thrilled to see it. Thrilled. But you guys let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's going to be a fun few years, and we're going to be building, and who knows? Sky's the limit. Hit the like, all that good stuff, and until next time.